I was telling the story that when I was here before, I was talking about Esther. Some of you know the story of Esther and some of you do not. But what I want to tell you about her is she was a powerful woman. And she believed in the strength and the harmony of life and community, and stuck out in the way of a bunch of people who did not believe that same thing, and actually put her life on the line to believe it. So what I want you to do this morning is I want you to look around this room, because there are people in this room that are from CSLN, and there are people in this room that are from Unity, and we believe in a harmonious world, do we not? So what are we going to do with this chance? It's a big chance. It's taking a chance, but it's a big chance today to prove our oneness. That's really what I believe is happening. Some of you, there's a few of you in here that used to attend my congregation over on the other side of the railroad tracks. That's what we used to say. And I would say to them, we say on Sunday morning that we believe in our oneness, but we can't even do it in here, much less when we go out on the street and start driving. So this is a great experiment to see if we can play in this sandbox together, being respectful of each other, and learning and growing and being excited about this new opportunity together. So are you ready to do this thing? So I've pulled out 2 quotes from powerful women this morning that I want to share with you. And the first one is this one. This is a wonderful day. I've never seen this day before. And so I want you to say that with me 2 times with a lot of gusto, and then we're going to have a little process we're going to do. You all know that if you've been in services with me, I don't just stand up here and blab all the time. I have you participate. Yay for you. Lock the doors. They can't get out. Okay? So say with me, this is a wonderful day. I've never seen this day before. Can you feel that? Can you feel it? I feel it. Those of you that know my dear friend, Reverend Rosemary Cathcart, she sent me a beautiful message this morning and said, I can't be here today. I'm going to be on a plane going to Houston, but I'm going to be sitting right there. So Rosemary, I feel you. You're here with us. So say with me one more time, this is a wonderful day. I've never seen this day before. So I want you to talk to the person close to you. Now, if you don't like that person, just pretend, okay? And share with them something that you have experienced today that you've never experienced before. Go. Can you tell I spent most of my life wrangling children and teenagers for a living? It's not really any different with adults. It's really not. So quite interestingly, and I've been telling CSLN for several years that I've been a guest speaker for them, it's interesting that their magazine is always right on with what's going on in their lives. And so I want to tell you what the theme in the CSLN newsletter, news bulletin, and their magazine is for March. It is, "That's How We've Never Done It." You can applaud, because we've never done this before. And so know that I've been reading, I've read ahead. I'll just tell you that I'm that kind of student. I go to the back and read some of that and go to the front and read some of that. But I've been reading because it's very interesting that there are lots of people that think about our world today and that we're beginning to do things that we've never done. Is that not right? I mean, those of us that are baby boomers, and I know there's several of us in here, we thought we were going to eventually retire, and my partner and I, Judy, thought we were going to retire and go sit on the deck and, drink something nice and rock in a chair and look at the river. And here I am doing this. It's like, who would have thunk? I've never done this before. I've never done this before. And I know that I'm excited today, and I've asked my friend Raquel to hold the space for me today, that Spirit speaks through me fully and completely. Not as me. I want to get Denise out of the way. You know what I mean? I just want Spirit to come through and say what Spirit wants to say this day. So I want you to complete your conversation with the person that's beside you, that you were talking to, but I want to talk to you about something for just a minute. In this process of us coming together, we had a lot of questions. I was only with CSLN, but we had a lot of questions. What's this going to be like? And they would ask me, and I'd go, I don't know. Don't know. But it's going to be different. And I know Unity was doing the same thing. What's this going to be like? What is it going to be like? Well, what I'm going to tell you is you are creating that experience in this now moment. Did you hear what she was reading this morning? This now moment. And sometimes I create an experience through questions that I ask. But when I was 4 and 5 years old, I asked questions and my mother would go, shh, 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 shh. Darling, no. Don't ask the question. But know that I'm going to say that I've seen that happen occasionally within all of this group. Everybody sitting in here has had questions that you might have been afraid to ask. It's like, oh, can I ask that question? What I said over on CSLN is I was like, if you got a question, come ask me. I can't promise you I have an answer. But I can promise you that I'll go into meditation about it, and I can promise you I might ask somebody that does have an answer. But can you say inside yourself and say to that person that's right beside you, I don't have to have all the answers. Just say that for a minute and pause. I don't have to have all the answers. How does that feel? We weren't told that we didn't have to have all the answers, were we? No. We were never told that we didn't have to all the answers, because I used to want to get A's on my paper. Now, sometimes in math, that's why I'm never a treasurer or don't do any of those kind of things. In math, I would get all kinds of check marks and stuff. And I'd go home with that piece of paper to my daddy, and I'd go, I'm sorry. Because my daddy was really good at math. And he would sit with me for hours and try to explain to me, and guess what? It didn't work. How can 1 + 2 be 3, but A + B be some? All that was very confusing to me. I was like, that doesn't work in my brain. So I want you to talk to somebody beside you about an experience that you've had today that maybe is something you saw for the first time that you'd never seen before. Maybe it's something you've heard for the first time that you've never heard before. I say all the time, sometimes I think those of us that are standing up going blah, 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 we just need to sit down and let the musicians do, because their lesson was it today. Was it not? Give them a hand again. That's really all we need, is it not? What is something you might have smelled today that's you've never smelled before? What is something you've felt today that you've never felt before? Share with the person around you. You know, I can promise you when you work with kindergartners, they don't always stop talking, but one of them will go, shh, she rang the bell. Shh. It's like they're going to fix it for you. So, you see I have a dream catcher up here. Those of you that know me well know that I'm really attached to the Native American process. One of the things we did at Unity was invite a Lakota tribe onto our land at one point in time, and we did peace circles, and we would have peace days there, and they taught us a lot about dreaming, visioning, holding the space, and explained that, you know, these little places that you have, they're really pretty, but do you realize that they're there to catch your dreams that are coming through? So I have one hanging in every room of my house, because I don't just dream at night. Sometimes I dream when I'm in the bathroom. Anybody dream when you're in the restroom, taking a shower, doing whatever else you do? It's like ideas come through, and I want to catch them all. I want to catch them all. Do you understand how many dreams are sitting in this room right now? Individual dreams, individual ideas about what you're going to do with this chance. You know, look at all these people in here. Obviously, somebody believes we're going to do something with this chance, right? Right? So, questions come up in the process of something new happening, and we go, what are we going to do about this? How are we going to be? Do we know how we're going to be? Will I even know how I'm going to be when I leave today? And if this woman up here tells you, you know, you're not going to, you're like, I don't want to hear that answer. So I want you to look at this. This is the other quote that is one of my very favorites. I've used it over and over and over with people that are dreaming a new life. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. Can you feel that there's some blossoming wanting to happen in this room? But it's like, oh, I just better sit down and be quiet. Shh. Don't say anything. Right? I feel it. I feel it with myself. I'm like, who am I to be standing up here blabbing this morning? Who am I? Thank you, Ricky, because you told me who I was to be standing up here blabbing this morning. But, you know, sometimes we had to be reminded of the spot we're in and what is mine to do. I'm here to remind you that this is a historic event in this moment. It's something that has never happened before. There have been people from Unity of Nashville that wandered over to the other side of the railroad tracks, and came to my center. There have been people from CSL that came over and wandered over to the east part of town and spoke or sang. There's been people today from CSL that have wandered over here and sat in these pews and went, wonder what? Wonder what? So I want to tell you a story. I've changed the names to protect the innocent. How's that? But it's a story about a chance that happened with a group of people that I know years and years and years and years. Yes, I look pretty good to be this old. Yes, years ago. Years ago. And they were sitting in a group and they wanted to do something new, something wonderful, something that had never been done. And they were open to ideas. And they would sit in the silence and they would meditate and ideas would come through. And ideas came through like a light coming through. And an idea in the mind that would light their mind up and they would go, do I dare share that? Do I dare tell anybody else in the group that this is the idea that I had because I don't know what she might think. I don't know what he might think. And so this group of people kept coming together and visioning and holding their dreams tight in the bud. You know what I mean? I know there's some of you that have done that kind of work before. And it's like, can I really share this? Is it safe to share this? I had no. You know what I mean? Have you ever been there? I think I might tell Ursula because maybe Ursula would listen to me. No, I don't know. Because if I tell this thing that I'm feeling inside, that when I even begin to breathe into it, I feel myself expanding. I'm like, oh, and what if somebody goes, oh, Denise? You ever had anybody in your life that did that? Yeah. Oh, Denise, sit down, hush. You know, I had a mother. Still does that occasionally. Oh, Denise, you're a minister? Oh, Denise. You know, it's like who in your life that you don't feel comfortable enough to share those things that are tied in the bud and you want to give them a little bit of space to blossom? So back to this story, this group of people, they kept meeting together and I kept encouraging them to share. This is a safe space, you can share. So little bit by little bit, people began sharing. Well, here's a thought that I had. Here's a piece of a vision that I had. Here's an idea that I had. And we started collecting them and putting them on pieces of paper. I guess now you can put them on a computer or who knows, an iPhone, who knows. But we used to collect them and put them down. And all of a sudden, we began to come up with a really good vision statement that way. And our vision statement was, remembering our oneness, we awaken the world to infinite possibilities. Woo! Doesn't that sound good? If we buy into it. And so what I watched this group of people do is I watched them expand and go, yes, we remember our oneness. Yes, who was that person? You know what I mean? Somebody might wander in that looks different, acts different, says something different, goes, what about this idea? Oh, Lord, mercy. So then we struggled. And so what I began noticing with this group of people is they started holding tighter in the bud. Tighter. What happens to a flower that is never allowed to blossom? Somebody just holler out and tell me what happened. It withers and dies, turns brown. Yes. And so what I watched was people doing that until one day, some brave soul stood up in the group and said, I believe that we need to put all of our ideas out here on this piece of paper and we need to listen. Oh, novel idea. Listen to what everybody has to say, and maybe the good will come from that. And so what happened is that's exactly what happened. They began to listen to each other. They began to ask questions of each other and always not have the answers, but have another thing to vision about later. Do you understand how that works? Some people think if I vision something new that, ta-da, we're done. We're done. Now we can go home today and we're done. We just got started. We just started. We just visioned that this was possible. And we just agreed that it was possible. Infinite possibilities. But what does it look like when we begin to blossom? Ernest Holmes, CSLN's father, says that when you want to do a big thing, get the mental pattern of it in your mind. Feel into it, push into it, let it take you over. Enlarge your thoughts, and then pass those thoughts over to the creative power and presence that will begin creating it. And then the most important thing he says is, and when the impression begins to come rolling back to you, follow it. Follow it. And so what's going to happen today when we leave is that there's going to be all kinds of ideas and all kinds of questions and all kinds of experiences, and you're all going to have different ones. That's the beauty of it all. And then at some point in time, I am believing that we can have some other conversations and say, that was beautiful. How do we make it more beautiful? How do we enlarge it? How do we bloom further into this thing that we're doing? Because the other thing that Ernest says is when a group of people come together, not just one person, when a group of people come together in one accord, harmoniously, and with one thought, a greater power is generated. So the other thing that I know is that there's lots of thoughts out here today, but can we agree on one thought that we're willing to let this blossom? That's it. We don't know what it's going to look like. It may blossom into a whole tree. It may just be that one bloom. But can we allow this to blossom? And what would it take for us to allow this to blossom? It's up to you, my friends. What will you do with this chance?
Welcome to the Sunday service at CSLN. We are a welcoming and inclusive community of inspired individuals caring for and about each other and the entire planetary family. The Center for Spiritual Living Nashville offers spiritual tools for anyone seeking a more fulfilled and meaningful life through a deeper connection with a higher power or universal truths. Be sure to subscribe below if you enjoy our programs.